Hello everyone, and welcome back to an idea that I've actually wanted to do for a while now. I've seen similar what ifs, like what if Ash was born in Johto by Extract, and I've also seen a lot of people talking about it here and there, but I have a different spin on this idea, which I think that some people might enjoy. And the design for Ash that I used, yes, was a render that I found of him in clothing suited for winter, and the cap that I have. I actually designed part of this render completely on my own, so it's my own art. And I got a picture of a mountain that looked like Mount Silver and put it onto the cap, as in the story it's actually sold as a cap or a hat where Ash lives in this story. And anyway, let me just stop ranting and just get into the main part of this video. So, Ash would live in a village that was located right on the top of Mount Silver. And just before I clarify, this is not Silver Town, where the the Johto League is held and where the conference is held, because I've never really seen Silver Town as an independent place, even though on Bulbapedia/Bulba Garden it says there are 30 people living there. Yeah, I'm not sure if we've actually been shown those people, and it's more as a town just used as a place for the Johto League, so I'm not going to have this where this version of Ash is from. So how this town works for sponsorship and getting somebody a Pokemon is that because they didn't really have an official professor of their own, there was a special person who I would call the Pokemon catcher, who was a very skilled, powerful battler, who would essentially go and capture a bunch of Pokemon for the people of this village that I'm gonna call Silver Village. Silver Village. He would capture it for them, capture Pokemon for them, and he would sell them at a rather decent price at his area, and people would go and buy Pokemon for themselves or their children. And well, Delia would have actually bought Ash a Pokemon that was fairly priced, and she would show Ash the Pokemon on his 10th birthday, which would so happen to be a Larvitar. As when she sent it out, Ash was very excited as he wanted to start this journey, and the Pokemon from the Pokemon catcher were domesticated and were treated kindly and very carefully and with love and care, so they weren't angry or resentful to humans, and so that they were fit for a young trainer. So Ash would meet Larvitar and introduce himself to Larvitar and tell it what he wanted to do with his life and become a Pokemon master, and Larvitar would understand the goal and would immediately be friendly towards Ash, as Delia would be happy that her son had gotten to know Larvitar, would give him the Pokeball and say when he's ready he can return Larvitar and start his journey. As Ash would return Larvitar after a bit more talking and add it to his team, as he would then put the Pokeball in his Pokemon belt, where he would then receive 6 Pokeballs from her, as the Pokemon catcher was not really a professor, but he was an official person, or an official sponsor for the Silver Village, and had Pokeballs, Pokedex resources for trainers, so she would get Pokeballs as well, and an older model Pokedex, as the Pokemon catcher didn't really have, he wasn't super rich, so he couldn't really get the newest model Pokedex, but he got a Pokedex that was good enough for people to use in their journeys. So Ash would then make his way down through Silver Cave, as he would meet a Teddiursa, who was rather territorial and it wanted to battle. Ash would use a rock throw, move that he saw from the Pokedex about Larvitar, to knock back the Teddiursa, as he would go for a few Fury swipes, which would knock back Larvitar, as Larvitar would respond with a bite, which would flinch Teddiursa and knock it down, as Ash would then take the opportunity to catch Teddiursa. Ash would return his Larvitar, as he would then make it to the route between Blackthorn City and Seal Cave. I can't quite remember its name, as Ash would then meet a Sneasel who was looking for a battle, as he would use a rock throw against Sneasel, as this would knock back Sneasel, as then immediately uses incredible speed to respond with an Icy Wind, which would slow down Larvitar, as it would then hit Larvitar in the face with a super effective Ice Sponge. But because Larvitar's rock type and is a rather durable Pokemon, it would survive the attack, respond to a rock throw, which would leave Sneasel incapacitated from the super effective blow, as would then be caught by Ash. Ash would return his Larvitar and would make his way into Blackthorn City. He would immediately go into the gym for the gym challenge, as he would then meet Clair, and Clair would tell him that Ash wasn't ready, and that he was clearly not strong enough to go up against her, and that there's a reason why she's the final challenge for people going through Johto's gym challenge. But Ash would say no, and say that she should at least go easy on him. But Clair would say even her weakest Pokemon is too much for Ash. But Ash, being the stubborn person he was, would keep insisting, and this would annoy Clair so much she would decide to beat Ash in a rather fast fashion. As she would send out one of her Pokemon, she would say that this was her weakest Pokemon, and that if Ash can land a single meaningful blow, she might actually give him a proper gym challenge. Ash would feel overconfident, but before he could do anything, it would land at extreme speed, which would leave Larvitar on the brink of knocking out. And Clair would say that Dratini wasn't even using 10% of its effort in the extreme speed, as when Larvitar responded with a rock throw, it would barely nudge Dratini and there would be no visible damage on Dratini, as Dratini would respond with a Dragon Rage, which would immediately knock out Larvitar. Ash would feel humiliated and embarrassed, as Clair would say that she told him so, and that he clearly isn't strong enough for her, and that he should go away and not waste her time until he's got 7 badges of his own. Ash would return his Pokemon, and embarrassed and worried for Larvitar would leave, as Clair would then think, what a waste of time. As then Ash would make it back into Blackthorn City and quickly heal his Pokemon in the Pokemon Center. I'd like to say before fighting Clair, he also used the Pokemon Center in Blackthorn City so he could heal his Pokemon up. As Ash would then make his way into the ice path, as he would walk around the ice path and would eventually make his way into Mahogany Town. As in Mahogany Town, he would look for the gym there, as he heard there was a gym there. But when he looked around, he would just find a sad old man who was very stoic. Ash would ask if he was the gym leader, and Pryce would say that he was, and tell Ash that his name is Pryce. Ash would be happy and would ask for a gym battle, and Pryce would just look at Ash and would tell that Ash was a newbie trainer, as from his years of experience he would be able to know, as he would look at him and say that Ash is not ready for any type of serious battle, and that he should come back when he's got more badges, and that he doesn't really care about going easy on anyone right now, as Ash would then beg, but Pryce just wouldn't care. I would say that Pokemon have mistreated him in the past, and that he doesn't really care to help somebody help him. To help somebody who won't really help him. and that he doesn't really care for Pokemon battles anyway, as the Pokemon that he has, he doesn't really care about them. But the only Pokemon he truly cared about abandoned him. As Ash would ask around and eventually find out about what happened with his Piloswine and about how it went missing, and Ash would realize that Piloswine didn't do this on purpose. I would look around in Mahogany Town to try and help find Piloswine to make Pryce happy and help him out. I would eventually find Piloswine after hours of looking, and with the help of a few locals, as he would use Tyranitar's rock throw to break it out of the ice, and would bring Piloswine to Pryce, as Pryce would be happy to find out about this, be grateful for Ash, as then they will both spend time resuscitating Piloswine and catching it up to speed, as Piloswine was happy to see its old trainer again, and this would make Pryce happy and eternally grateful to Ash, as after this, Pryce would be much happier and very grateful to Ash, and wouldn't really mind helping him out or giving him a gym battle, as Pryce, as like I said earlier, knew that Ash was a newbie trainer, so he would ask him if he's had any battle with any human or trainer, and Ash would then respond with no, as Pryce would tell him that he can help Ash out with that, and that he was going to train Ash for the gym battle, as Ash was clearly not ready at the current state that he was in, and even the Pokemon that was very weak that he was going to use on Ash would be too much for his current state by now. And even though that Ash does have a few battles under his belt with wild Pokemon, a wild Pokemon cannot trump the experience that a trainer will give you in a battle. As then, the next day, Ash would arrive to train with Pryce with his Smoochum, which was a Pokemon that was moderately strong, not too strong but not too weak, as Ash and all of his Pokemon would train with Smoochum, and Pryce would help Ash learn more about Pokemon and battles, as he would make Ash's Pokemon immensely stronger, catch them up to speed, and also the Pokemon that would gain the most out of this training would be Larvitar, Ash's strongest, as Smoochum and Pryce, after realizing this, would focus a bit more on Larvitar, as it was stronger than the other two, as Larvitar and Smoochum would do some sparring, as Larvitar would land a bite on Smoochum to do a decent chunk of damage to Smoochum. Smoochum would then be barraged with a rock throw as it was flinched by the bite, as it would knock back Smoochum. Smoochum would then use Powder Snow to knock back Larvitar for a lot of damage, as they then clash with both Bite and an Ice Punch to knock back both Pokemon for an even amount of damage. As Ash and Pryce were both satisfied with the results of the battle, as it would then stop and Pryce would then tell Ash about how type advantages work, and also tell him a bit more basics about Pokemon battle, and also about abilities and potential held items, even though held items aren't really used in the anime other than Mega Stones and that kind of thing, but still he told him about it, and eventually the gym battle would happen the next day, as Pryce would use a completely different Pokemon, like he said, as he knew that Ash would be too experienced with Smoochum and it would be too easy for him to win the battle, so Pryce would use his Seal against Ash's Larvitar, as Larvitar would be hit by an Icy Wind, as this wouldn't slow down Larvitar, as it was kind of used to the move Icy Wind after training a bit with Sneasel, as it would then respond with a Rock Throw which would knock back Seal, as Seal would go for a Bubble Beam which would be avoided, as when Larvitar went in for a bite, Pryce would wait for the right moment and land a point blank Bubble Beam which would knock back Larvitar for a lot of damage. It seemed like Larvitar had just been knocked out, as the ref would begin to end the battle and say that Pryce had won, but Larvitar would then stand up and would roar as it was ready to continue the fight. As Larvitar, from the intensity of the battle, would learn a new move, Rock Tomb, and use Rock Tomb on the Seal. As Seal would slow down and it would then be hit with a bite. As it would then respond with an Icy Wind, which would slow down Larvitar, as Seal being slowed down by the Rock Tomb as well. As they would then clash with Aqua Jet and Bite, as both moves would do equal damage to both Pokemon, which would make it a tie. Ash would feel like that he didn't deserve the badge as it was just a tie, and would begin to leave and would say that he would come back and beat Pryce the next day. But Pryce would say no and tell him to wait, as this would catch Ash's attention. As Pryce would tell Ash that Ash did his best, and that Ash is an amazing trainer, and that Larvitar was more dominant in the fight, and that he deserves the badge. Ash would accept the badge without much protest, as Pryce would congratulate Ash and tell him that he's done all he can in Mahogany Town and wish him luck in his next journey. As I think it's time to end it here. I really enjoyed making this video, as this is the Christmas special, but because it's a bit more further away from Christmas and more closer to the New Year's Eve, to the New Year, and it is New Year's Eve, I will also call it the New Year's Eve special. Anyway, I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed watching it. I'll see you guys later, bye.